Hi guys, welcome to another episode of for the Anime Geek segment, and let's talk about Golgo 13, the professional, shall we? For those who don't know, this film was released in 1983. It's based on a 1968 manga series of the same name that was written by Takao Saito. This is the first animated adaptation and the third film adaptation overall, having been preceded by two live-action films in 1973 and 1977 respectively. It was followed by an OVA series released in an OVA movie released in 1998, and a television series which was released in 2013. Sorry guys, I'm getting all my dates mixed up. The manga series followed the character of Golgo 13, or Duke Togo if you like, a contract killer, Golgo 13 of course being his code name, and the series followed this guy as he completed various assignments with differing degrees of creativity. It's the same story for every chapter. And I mean, more or less every plot is episodic, so you don't really have to read it from start to finish to understand what's going on. And with that said, this isn't a difficult movie to do, is it? I mean, really? You've got an assassin killing people. How difficult is that? Okay. Actually, yes. You don't really think that they could drop the ball with this, but they did. Big time. The story follows the titular character, Golgo 13. He's a sniper for hire, and he has been paid to assassinate a man named Robert Dawson, who is the son of this oil tycoon, and succeeds before moving on to his next assignment. And of course, Robert Dawson's father is all vengeful and gets help from the Pentagon, the CIA, and the FBI to go after Golgo 13, and in the process they kill a great many of Golgo 13's informants. This is the main plot, okay, is the revenge story. Robert Dawson's father isn't going to try and kill the man who killed his son. In terms of the other elements on the plot, it's just all over the place. Because it starts off in his next assignment is in San Francisco, and then he has to take care of an Italian mafia boss, and then he's in San Francisco or Chicago or some such place, and then he's running from assassins that are sent after him. Him, of course, being Golgo. So, as I say, the plot's all over the place, and the transitions from one plot thread to the next are incredibly jarring. One minute you're in Leonard Dawson's office, listening to him rant and rage at the FBI and the CIA about how if they don't help him, he will effectively shut down his businesses and bring the economy for the United States to a complete standstill. And then you're watching Golgo as he's having sex with some woman. The two scenes are just so different, and there's no sort of easing your way into it. Now, with that said, I will say that I liked the way the film was animated. That the art style and animation is very good, and I like the opening song for the movie. It's very James Bond like, which I suppose makes sense because Golgo 13 is billed as or thought of as Japan's darker version of James Bond. But apart from that, there's nothing really that stands out. The film used was very impressive in that it used CG animation at one point, and CGI was in its infancy at the time. Towards the end of the movie, they have this massive helicopter chase, and the helicopters are done with computer graphics instead of with traditional cell animation. So that was really interesting to me. But other than that, there isn't really much. The voice acting is about the only other half decent thing in the film, and considering that the film was released in 1983, the voice acting is pretty good, especially on the English dub, if you're watching the English dubbed version. But this is, and the action scenes were okay. You know, they weren't great, but they were well done for the most part, in my opinion. Unfortunately, this is where the trouble starts because, as I said, the pacing is just erratic. It moves at a snail's pace through the majority of the film, and then it just sort of explodes, and you've got these action scenes left, right, and center, and but again, you don't have that natural transition. These are scenes that are just seemingly cut together because people thought, oh well, it looks cool, so you know we'll leave it in. And this main plot with Dawson's revenge thing doesn't make it to the forefront of the movie until around about the 30 or 40 minute mark in a 90-minute film. You know, the film is a total of 90 minutes in length, and you have to wait 40 minutes to get even a glimpse of the main plot. And this delayed plot line, or the delayed reveal of the main plot, is what makes the film so incoherent, because it jumps between Golgo on assignment somewhere to Golgo plotting to kill him, as I said before. Another problem that I found with the film was that Golgo 13 is a blank slate. He is an emotionless, silent killing machine with the personality of a concrete slab. And I think many other reviewers have said this as well when they've looked at the film. He's not a character at all. He is, in fact, a construct. a sort of avatar for viewers to pretend to be him, basically. Now, the other problem that I encountered, and this is something of a more personal opinion-based thing, and this only really came up in subsequent viewings. The film's got several sex scenes. Don't get me wrong, the scenes are really well shot, but here's the thing, he moves on. He doesn't seem to really care one way or the other about who it is that he's with. And he has at least twice in the franchise killed the woman that he slept with. And as I say, apart from that, the ramifications of all these encounters are not, they're neither shown nor discussed in any way at all. If he's having sex with a woman every time he goes on assignment somewhere, wouldn't that mean that he has a son somewhere, or several sons at this point? Because the film doesn't really establish how old he is, but it does establish that he has quite a reputation as an assassin. And I understand keeping it, to a certain level private, but you'd think that these women would at least try to contact him and say, listen, you have a son. And especially, if it's unprotected sex, if it's unprotected sex, pregnancy is the least of his worries, in some ways. Sexually transmitted diseases and infections, it just doesn't make sense to me that he would do this so often and that he would still be healthy, I guess, would be a word that comes to mind, for lack of a better one. I will say, though, that I liked how the scenes showed Golgo in these situations, wherein he's just sort of lying there. He's not really doing anything. And several other people have also commented on this, with the theory being that because of who he is, he doesn't have enough empathy left to actually enjoy what's happening. Although that still doesn't explain how these women can really enjoy what's happening to them, if there's anything happening to them at all. So there's that. I really don't know what else to say about this movie, because it is a difficult movie to watch. The pacing is erratic, the character is uninteresting, the plot is full of inconsistencies and plot holes that would drive anybody absolutely crazy. How does Leonard Dawson have enough money to get in touch with not only the FBI, but the Pentagon and the CIA, and why are they helping him? I understand wanting to keep your government and your economy going, but still, it doesn't make sense to me. And but in spite of that, I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. There are so many flaws with this movie that you could probably just make a whole list of them, and it would be 20 or maybe even 30 pages long if you're lucky. But it's very much like Angel Cop in that this is one of those titles that you would sit with a group of friends, you know, and again, with a lot of junk food, and you just sit and make fun of it. It's an action movie, but it's a very incoherent action movie, to be very honest. And it's because of that sort of erratic nature and with all the violence and sex in the film that you don't really get much in the way of the plot. Too many things are happening at once, which is why you would generally sit with a group of friends and make fun of it, because nobody can follow anything that's happening. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this movie, and as always, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again for the next episode. I'm just trying to think when. Next week sometime, I hope. As always, you can leave any questions or suggestions in the comments section. I love getting feedback from you guys because it means that I know more or less where I can improve these videos, and also what you guys would be interested in seeing. So go ahead and leave your questions, suggestions, or just general comments in the comment section below. You can follow me on Twitter at AnimeCrazyNut. I will put the link in the closing credits as always. And I'll see you again next time. But until then, guys, stay cool. Bye.